Hey everybody, long time no see, and no, I am not dead, at least not yet. Sorry, it's taken about 6 months for me to make another video. Unfortunately, I work as a lawyer, and I kept having claims going to trial, which meant that had to take my focus. And then when I was finally able to start picking this game back up again, they changed the game in a major patch, which is apparently the last one, and that meant I had to go and relearn the new mechanics. So I wanted to make sure I understood all of those changes before I made a video, and it took me some time, so I apologize for it taking so long. With all of that being said, let's go ahead and start making guides again, and the last requested video from somebody that watches the channel was a Teutonic Order guide. So let's go ahead and begin. Now, first things first, let's talk about estates and privileges. You guys have seen me do these before. The whole idea is to give you some buffs while making sure that their estate loyalty is higher than their influence, at least getting them as close as possible if they are over. In this case, the birders do have slightly more influence, but that will address itself in time. However, I do want to point out, most people playing the Teutonic Order are likely to remain Catholic, but not guaranteed. I still recommend taking institutionalized clergy because these early pope points are very, very, very useful. So it's up to you what you choose to do, but I would recommend them, especially if you're going Holy Horde, because you're going to be remaining Catholic the whole time, and having those points will definitely be a benefit. Now that that's been said, let's talk about your army. You're just going to hire 1 cavalry, 3 infantry, and then you're going to turn it off. You're not going to war anytime soon. You're also going to take your light ships, protect trade, and you're going to turn all of these guys to mothball, and you're going to mothball your forts. You're not going to war anytime soon. What you need, however, is money. As much money as you possibly can. Because by using that money, you're able to manipulate the diplomacy around you and get the ally you need, which is going to be Austria. With that being said, let's go ahead and pivot over to your starting diplomacy. As stated, the person that you are focusing on is going to be Austria, and who they rival at the game start is going to depend on how easy of a time you have. If they rival Poland, Lithuania, Denmark, you can almost always just rival that same person, scornfully insult them, and pick up Austria as an ally on day 1. I actually had to restart this game twice because that happened, and I wanted to show you the more difficult way of doing this, where you do not have them as rivals and you have to actually work for it. So I cannot get Austria now, but I have to pick up other allies to at least keep me safe and make it so nobody else attacks me for the time being. First person I'm going to check with is Brandenburg. They are willing to. That's fantastic. The next person I will pick up is usually going to be the Palatinate, and then I'll pick up Riga and the Livonian Order. The Livonian Order will almost always ally you, so they're not really a problem, and I pick up the Merchant Sun right here because I want the money. Let's be quite honest, that money is going to be very, very, very helpful at the beginning of the game. Livonian Order, and then I'm going to pick up Riga, and then once I have my diplomats back, I'm going to improve relations with Austria and the Livonian Order, and this is going to take some time. Again, not going to war anytime soon, so there's not a whole lot else to tell you until it's time to actually talk again. What I will say, though, is no matter who you get as an heir, your ruler sucks. I mean, he really, 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 really sucks. So you want to make him into a general at the minimum, and if you get a bad heir as well, like I did, make them into one as well. The good news is that they tend to be decent commanders. However, even if they're not, you want them to shuffle off the mortal coil as quickly as possible. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pause the game, because again, this is going to take some time, and no point in just watching me rant. I'll see you guys in a little bit. And welcome back, everybody. So, Fade and Newmark, tell them no. You'd always rather keep these 2 pieces of land, even though they're not exactly great pieces of land, because you're eventually probably going to want to take them back, and they're in the HRE, which means you pay a lot more aggressive expansion for these provinces. 100 ducats, while nice in the early game, not necessary. Definitely not worth the price for the AE. That being said, go ahead and see you guys a little bit. And welcome back, everybody. So it's time to get Austria as an ally. As you can see, though, I have slightly changed the amount of troops that are in my army, coming from 16 all the way up to 24. You might need to have this many troops in order to get Austria to knock their nonsense off, so just be aware that you might need to pre-build plenty of troops just to make sure this goes off without a hitch. Second, I do have the Livonians high enough in opinion where I can just go ahead and click this button, and they're now suddenly a vassal, which will improve my force limit capacity to 18. So you're still going well above what you could possibly do. Once I get my diplomat back, it is time to simply pick one of their rivals. In this case, I'm going to go with Aragon. Just because they're the furthest away that I will never care about, because they will probably fall under a personal union. And that'll make it so I have more opinion with Austria. Now, as you can see here, still not enough. Even with 24 troops out there, still not enough. What I need to do is I need to hire as many mercenaries as I can. You only have 3 available, because the independent Cossack host, they can't be hired in your country, so you just can't get them. So that's why you need 24. Once they are hired, the negative malice should go down enough for you to be within range of making them an ally. If not, as it appears to be in this case, I have to wait for it, you might need to pick up a diplomatic reputation advisor, which will then let you pick up the alliance. The reason why you're doing all of this is because now you can just straight join the HRE. Now, I can already predict people in the comments going, yeah, but you're still going to have the same problem as if you click this button. And that might be the case. But here's the thing. If you are an ally of the Emperor with 200 opinion, he always votes to let you in without any restrictions. So now I will be able to join the Empire, and he will get a lot of Imperial authority, but I'll be able to join the Empire with no restrictions whatsoever. And this only fires once. So once this is done, I can click this button and get 100 diplomatic power for free. Just period. I don't have to worry anymore. Now that that's also done, I'm going to start improving relations with Hungary, because until they fall under a personal union, I want to get them as well to help with Poland and Lithuania. That being said, I'm obviously not going to need an alliance now because I just picked up Austria, so I'm going to break it with Riga. And once I have Hungary, unless they fall under a personal union, I'm going to break it with Brandenburg or with the Palatinate, depending on which one I really want to roll with. In this case, I'd probably rather keep Brandenburg because they will help me fight Poland. With that being said, just gotta wait for them to accept me in, which again, no restrictions, so I'll be able to expand into the HRE whenever I want, and to pick up Hungary as an ally. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording again because I need to wait until I'm in the HRE, have both these guys as allies, and I've curried enough favors, because then it's time to go after Poland. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Oh, one last thing. Once you have the capacity of seizing land again, do so, because it's the only way for you to avoid the Prussian Confederation, and that happens next year. So I'll see you guys then. And welcome back, everybody. So it's now time to go ahead and attack Poland, and I do have the 10 favors with both Austria and Hungary, so they'll come in, and if Hungary does fall under the personal union, they're still going to be at war, and they won't reduce the number of troops like they normally will once they become a subject. Now, here's the thing. First off, Brandenburg, they're being Brandenburg, and they're not helping, because they like the Poles too much, which is just fantastic. Second, I do want to point out that since Poland does have a choice in this game, they can either end up with a Jagiellonian with low military skill, meaning you should be ahead of them militarily, or they will usually get a 5 or 6 in each stat guy, meaning they will have the military tech 4, and Austria and Hungary generally won't. Here, Hungary picked up Hunyadi pretty early, but I've had games where they stayed in an interregnum the entire time, meaning they had no capacity to really fight, but they were a good distraction. So make sure you look and see what's going on and compare so you know how you need to play it. Now in my game, I got incredibly lucky. He picked a Jagiellonian, which means the Lithuanians come in, which usually gives them a lot of troops, but as you can see, there's no personal union. They picked a Jagiellonian and somehow this got broken almost immediately. I don't know how, but it did. So now, I don't have to worry about Lithuania, so we massively outnumber them. In your game, this should be a lot closer of a fight in terms of raw numbers, but you do have a couple of advantages. Namely, you have forts surrounding you, and they will almost immediately ignore these two guys and run up to your forts, and you actually have some fairly decent ideas for early combat, and you have decent cavalry, and hopefully a somewhat okay general. So make sure you have at least military tech 4 if they do, If they don't, still try to have Tech 4 before you attack them, and you should have no problems whatsoever. So I'm going to go ahead and fight Poland, though in this case it really isn't going to be much of a fight because Lithuanians aren't even involved. The good news is that if they are involved for you, Lithuania, they tunnel vision the Livonian Order, and they'll just sit up here sieging out forts forever while the Poles are picked apart. So I'm going to go ahead and deal with this. I'll see you guys a little bit. Hey everybody, so I'm paused before I realized I never talked about these two missions. So Expand Our Army gives you combat benefits that last only a short time. You want to click this the moment you actually declare war on Poland, because of course you want to have that shock damage received for as long as possible when you're actually fighting. Bound of the Orders, however, it does also give you benefits, but these are really benefits before the war starts. The manpower recovery speed, you're still recovering from having to build so many troops and then deleting some of them, as well as the fact that you just need manpower. The second one of these is Yearly Army Tradition, and while Army Tradition is great for your combat potential and your general roles, it will take time for it to build up, so as soon as you're capable of clicking this button, do so. Just because it'll make it so by the time you're actually fighting, it's as high as it can be. And same is true with turning on the forts, because that will also give you Army Tradition. That's all I wanted to say, because I don't see the point in holding both of them for this fight, because you want to have one of them activated as soon as possible, but the other one do hold. That being said, see you soon. And welcome back everybody. So as you can see, Poland is occupied. It's time to piece them out. Now I am taking all the amount of money, I'm taking war reparations, and I'm taking this land. While you theoretically could take this land right here, don't do so. The reason why is by doing so, you will be able to complete the invasion into Poland mission. Well, defeat Poland. And this will give you the option of picking either staying in the Empire or leaving the Empire. I'm going to go ahead and leave the Empire, which does, of course, kick me out of the Empire. But as you can see here, there is still a way for me to get back in. I have to reduce the amount of development I have, but I can get back in. I do that by going through and just exploiting all my development. Yes, this will hurt my economy in the long term, but I am more than willing to hurt my economy in the long term to get back into the Empire so that I can continue expanding in the Empire. As you can see here, I am about 40 opinion away with Austria to allow me back into it, so I'm just going to go ahead and improve relations. And as you can see here, I just got to let the aggressive expansion tick down, probably scornfully insult a rival, maybe send some money, and I should be fine. So I'm going to do exactly that, and it also counts whether or not your vassals have any land. So in that case, do not take any land from Sweden to release Finland or anything else, because it will bump you up too high. I'm going to take my army now, just simply send them down here, and I'm going to crush rebels here, because I obviously am going to need to. But at this point, I'm able to hopefully join back into the Empire. So I'm going to go ahead and play for a little bit longer, because I do actually need to core this up to show you guys, but I'll see you guys then. And welcome back everybody. So I got the Austrian opinion up to 200, meaning I was able to rejoin the Empire, and as you can see here, the Teutonic Order and Empire has already fired, meaning you do not get the incident again. No matter how long it happens to go, I am now in the Empire, and they cannot stop me from consuming the entire Empire. So I don't have to fight the Emperor anymore. I can just destroy them from the inside, while at the same time having the mission tree allowing me to form the Holy Horde. By doing so, I'm able to expand west, east, south, north, everywhere I want to go without any real limitation other than normal aggressive expansion mechanics, which is important. The reason why is because the Ottomans are probably your biggest threat in any kind of expansion, because eventually they're going to start pushing north towards you and will want to fight you as well. You will have Austria to help contain them, but the other threat that you have would be Russia. The advantage that you have is that simply by marking Neva up here as a province of interest, before Muscovy can take it, you should be able to grab these two provinces. That's all you need. By taking them, once Muscovy has finished taking out Novgorod, you can release them as a subject and push Muscovy out of this terrain, and if they don't have Novgorod, that means they can't form Russia, meaning you're going to be able to continuously push east without the Ottomans becoming a huge threat, because they will maybe help the Russians, but not very likely, and they should be weak enough, the Russians, where you could fight the Ottomans and the Russians together. You can also go up here in north into Finland and start taking out Scandinavia, because by the time you end up hitting Norway, Denmark should have integrated them. In this case, they lost the Norwegian personal union, so I'm going to have to conquer them as well. But you're going to be able to get all of Scandinavia, Russia, Poland, and Germany as options to expand into to build everything that you're going to need, and then eventually you can just destroy everybody. The only thing that you lose by taking this option, other than the claims in Germany, is the ability to form Prussia. But because it's just Prussia, you can form Hanover, you can form Germany, you can form any other tag, allowing you to go through your mission tree and then form into Germany later. So this is what I recommend you do regardless of which path you end up taking, whether it's into the Empire or not, because this will give you the strongest options that you have available to you. With all that being said, though, you guys should be relatively good to go. The Poles, even if they did maintain the Lithuanian personal union in your game, really aren't going to be that much of a threat to you, because you should have Austria and Hungary, or both of them together, willing to help you fight. As far as pushing into the Holy Roman Empire, I'd recommend going for Stettin, Wolgast, and then wrapping around and taking Brandenburg once you want, but I would also recommend doing so and using Austria to become an elector yourself, just to give yourself a few more diplomats later on. But that should be about it. You guys should be good to go. This is a strong way to start, and you usually will be able to push over all of Poland and Lithuania before you really have any challenge that's facing you, and that's, again, usually going to be the Ottomans. But if you guys have any questions, be sure to let me know below. I'm going to be giving CD keys out in comments moving forward, because a lot of them have accrued over 6 months, and I need to kind of like purge them. So you'll find comments down there where you can just grab the CD key. It's whoever grabs them first. So if you are the first person to watch and you can get them all, kudos. With that being said, let me know what you guys want to see, because I'm going to need nation ideas, because I'm going to be making a lot of these videos. But thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.